Hello, hello, hello. Our monarchy is Britain's most recognisable institution. A symbol of unity and source of national pride, the Crown of Britain and the Commonwealth realms has long been beloved. Yet, amidst our modern cultural and economic decay, increasingly many people wish to abolish the monarchy. This video aims to properly explain what the monarchy does for us and why it would be an incredible act of self-harm to do away with it. The Crown is an ancient institution. Since the Kingdom of England was established in 927 by Athelstan, grandson of Alfred the Great, to the modern day with His Majesty King Charles III, the Crown has experienced incredible change and reform. Whilst kings in the past ruled with unlimited legal power, King Charles's role is now little more than ceremonial, though many across the world still have little idea how the arrangement works. So let me explain. In theory, the king still holds all the power. However, the precedent set by the Magna Carta in 1215 was for the gradual limitations on the exercise of power, first by giving the nobility rights, then by giving rights to the common people, then by introducing democracy and expanding the right to vote to all adults. The country is split into three branches of government: the executive, who actually manage the country and come up with policy, the legislature, who create and repeal laws, and the judiciary, who apply the laws of the land and settle important constitutional cases. In the UK, there was no precedent for the separation of these powers until that wanker Tony Blair took an axe to the whole system. The legislature, which is called the Houses of Parliament, is split into the House of Commons, which consists of people elected in a first-past-the-post manner by the British public, and the House of Lords, which used to consist of the clergy and hereditary members of the nobility, the Lords Spiritual and the Lords Temporal, until that wanker Viscount Asquith took an axe to the whole system in 1916. Nowadays, the Lords consist largely of political appointees, representatives of people of all faiths, and a diminished number of hereditary peers. The first Parliament was held in 1265 by Simon de Montfort, with the first proper election in 1695. These days, whilst the king officially has a lot of power, practically everything is done by other people under the king's authority, for which the king only has to sign off, such as giving royal assent to any law passed by Parliament. No monarch has refused to give royal assent since 1707, when Queen Anne refused a Scottish militia bill. The king takes no role in any branch of government, though all branches operate under his authority, with the king having a right to be informed on any operation of his government. The king is also head of the Church of England, though this is also largely ceremonial these days. Beyond this, the king is head of state of 14 other Commonwealth realms, though these have a Governor-General who acts on the king's behalf with all constitutional authority of the king. Contrary to popular belief, the Crown is not funded by taxes. In fact, it hasn't been for many centuries. How it actually works is that the Crown funds itself. The Crown Estate is an entity that holds and manages all the lands and buildings owned by the monarchy. This includes some very expensive land, such as the entirety of Regent Street, half of St James's, 45% of Britain's foreshore, which is useful for wind farms, and several other smaller properties. These lands generate significant profit, mostly from rent. The monarchs used to keep all the profit, but in 1760, King George III decided to surrender every penny to the government in return for the government giving back a modest percentage to the royal family in the form of the sovereign grant, now 25%. As such, the monarchy is actually a net contributor to the treasury. Far from being a burden to the taxpayer, they reduce the taxpayer's burden. If the monarchy was abolished today and the Crown Estate properly privatised, this would come at the cost of, if my figures are correct, £250 million every year of lost government income. Not something we want to do away with. Beyond simply surrendering profits, the monarchy also has a huge financial benefit in the fact that it is such a prestigious and well-recognised institution. Millions of tourists come to the UK every year, and they choose here in particular in part because of the monarchy. Beyond this, I dare say there are billions sold in merchandise related to the monarchy, either directly or indirectly. Beyond this, there are also tens of thousands of jobs created to support the monarchy and extended royal family. The benefit is palpable. One estimate from Brand Finance placed the monarchy's total financial contribution to this country to be at £1.7 billion in 2017 alone. even more when there is a special occasion. As an aside, I should also mention the other Commonwealth realms. Whilst these countries do not have sitting monarchs, many of the financial benefits Britain experiences also apply, especially in times of a state visit. At the same time, these countries also have far smaller costs to uphold their constitutional arrangements. Even in lesser known countries like Belize, Papua New Guinea and Tuvalu, the monarchy is a net financial contributor, worth keeping on the economic front alone. Despite all of this, it is important to remember that monarchy does not exist merely to satisfy a few accountants, and the benefits of the institution go far beyond balance sheets. As an ancient and apolitical institution, the monarchy commands a lot of prestige and respect. Whilst a politically driven British government can rightly be refused by foreign powers, a royal invitation to Buckingham Palace is rarely turned down. This is because the monarchy is apolitical and, still even in the minds of Republicans, commands a higher level of prestige and respect. Snubbing the monarchy would effectively be snubbing the country as a whole. This tactic has been vital in diplomacy, especially between Britain and America, and we'd likely have gone bankrupt without it. There have also been many other cases where the royal family or monarch have obligingly been used as diplomatic tools to get foreign leaders on side. Again, this is only possible because of the monarchy's higher level of respect from being at the top of the hierarchy, as well as their refusal to take a public political stance, which is why it's so concerning to see His Majesty King Charles and His Royal Highness Prince William championing political issues such as climate change. Beyond diplomacy, monarchy also plays an important role in statecraft. Firstly, there is the pure fact that the monarchy is the source of all authority and political legitimacy in the United Kingdom. Though this is little appreciated, it does mean that the king would have the power to cool any potential civil war arising from an election dispute. Finally then, monarchy also provides us with our natural place in life. Though the liberals, socialists and anarchists may never appreciate this, hierarchy is natural and always arises, even in places where equality is an explicit goal. Better then, I say, to have a hereditary monarchy that is a living symbol of the entire nation, whose only expressed interest is the improvement of the country, to whom we can all pledge allegiance and expect loyal service from in return. When one expresses loyalty to the king, it is not loyalty to that king as a man, but loyalty to the country through the living symbol of the king. The power-hungry may complain that it is unfair that only one family is born into this position of authority, but I say bollocks to that. It is good that no politician can ever rise to the top. No matter how narcissistic and authoritarian the leader is, they will never be top dog. Prime ministers also have to have private audiences with the monarch. What an untold benefit it is for these people to be forced to explain themselves to their superior. So no, I reject the liberal value of absolute equality of opportunity. The royal family are in a class of their own. Though they hold authority over us all, it is clear that they are here to serve our collective interests, and they do so incredibly well. I am a proud subject of the British monarchy, and I'm glad to have a living, tangible symbol of my nation. Finally then, I want to have a round of quick-fire rebuttals to the points made in favour of a republic in the Wikipedia article Republicanism in the United Kingdom. A republic is more democratic. Whilst in principle any country with hereditary power is undemocratic, the practical reality of a constitutional monarchy is that it can be entirely as democratic as any republic. In fact, if you look at the ranking of the most democratic countries in the world, you'll find that many of the top 10 are actually monarchies. Fairer and less elitist. I mean, I guess this is true, but it's important to break down what's actually being said here, and what monarchy's for. The complaint seems to be that the hereditary hierarchy is bad, and that there should be a purely meritocratic republic where the best person for the job should be the one to lead. To this I say that the monarch does not lead in practice, it's only ceremonial. Seeking ceremonial power for its own end is tyrannical, and I'd far rather a family be born into the role than have to compete for it in any given way. As for the elitism, so what? Again, this just smacks of bitter jealousy by narcissistic tyrants who think they could do better. Hierarchy is natural and unavoidable. I'd far rather remove the need to fight over it. Republics are based on merit and arouse aspiration. I mean, this is just conjecture. Look throughout history. Can you say that the people under monarchies have been lacking in ambition? No, of course not. What the monarchical hierarchy does do, though, is it prevents the delusions of grandeur so prevalent in places like America by acting as a constant reminder that the country is more important than you alone. As for merit, the monarchy is almost entirely just ceremonial. What merit do these people think is lacking? You can still become Prime Minister and lead the country in every practical sense, for heaven's sake. Compatible with a multiracial and multicultural society. Oh, come on. The king represents all his subjects regardless of ethnicity. It takes a race-obsessed fool to think that people cannot be represented by someone who is not the same colour as them. Besides, can you say that Biden is any more representative of black Americans than Charles is of black Britons? No, you can't. Does not impose a state religion. Let's be serious now. Does anyone in this country seriously believe the Church of England is being imposed on them? Anyone? No, of course not. It isn't. And look, I'm not defending policies of the past here. I'm defending the monarchy as it is now. Next. Cost less. This simply isn't true. See above. Would make the country not appear backwards. Frankly, I don't care what some jumped up middle class progressive calls backwards. The monarchy is timeless and continues to be beneficial and inspiring. This isn't about political fashion and optics, for crying out loud. The monarchy is out of touch with the public. I mean, this is a silly argument as well. Do people wish for our glorious and ancient monarchy to be dirt poor and living out of a council estate in Hounslow? It's not the monarchy's job to be in touch with the public because, again, the monarchy is largely ceremonial. Having said that, the royal family talk to members of the public on a regular basis. As for republics, can we truly say that the majority of our elected representatives are in touch with the public? I don't think so. The monarchy represents the idea of superiority due to blood lineage. Whilst the monarchs did used to claim this claim has for the most part been abandoned. It's not about whose head the crown sits on. What's important is the crown itself. I support the institution of the monarchy. This is not a defence of King Charles as a man. Right, I think that's all of it. I hope you found this video informative, and hopefully it's something you can come back to if you ever need to rebut an ignorant Republican online. Thanks for watching, and with all sincerity, God save the King.